take a look at this video here with some MSNBC shill. This chick, man, I don't even know her name, but I've seen her speak in lots of videos, and she is another one to listen to that you just want to, I actually got to go into her education myself. I bet you anything, when I dig into this chick's education, again, I'll talk about it maybe tomorrow. I'll do that tonight, dig into where she goes to school and her history, and I guarantee you will find that they went to the same types of schools. It's like that Destiny Bonnell. I looked up his education, and he literally, from birth, went to a school, a boys' school for or Jesuit school for boys, or something like that. Like, come on, like it doesn't get any more obvious than that. But let's have a listen to this pig here.
We are seeing a global trend of the far right surging. It isn't just happening here. But let's bring you back to the U.S. and to our local gangster, Donald Trump. He's not even president yet, and he's already spending his time sitting in his golden palace, Mar-a-Lago, muscling other countries like he's Tony Soprano with a social media site. Doing things like, reportedly, debating whether or not to invade Mexico. Threatening BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, with 100% tariffs if they don't commit to trading in dollars and not their own currencies. Demanding Hamas release all hostages being held in Gaza before his inauguration, or there will be, quote, all hell to pay in the Middle East. Even reportedly threatening Canada. According to Fox, when Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau went to Mar-a-Lago this weekend to try to talk Trump out of his 25% tariff threat, Trump apparently suggested that if Canada can't handle the tariffs that would violate the NAFTA upgrade Trump himself signed into law, the USMCA, they should just become the 51st state. Just become this 51st state instead and allow Trudeau to be reduced to governor of the state of Canada, which caused the Prime Minister and others to laugh nervously. And while some are writing that off as just a joke, just a few hours ago, Trump posted this obviously AI photo of him standing on a mountaintop next to the Canadian flag, looking off into the distance with the caption, "Oh, Canada." And for the record, he appears to be looking at the Matterhorn, which is on the border between Switzerland and Italy, not Canada. Oh, and let's not forget, this is the same Donald Trump who at one point seriously wanted to buy the nation of Greenland, even possibly trade it for Puerto Rico. I wonder what this guy has against Puerto Rico. I'll just keep noodling on it. I'm sure I'll figure it out. Bottom line, this is how Trump operates on the world stage. He acts like he's everybody's boss, like he's the king of the world, which is bad news for basically everybody, unless your name is Vladimir Putin, the boss to Trump's underboss. The question now is, will any other leader stand up to him? And who? Who becomes the leader of the free world when Donald Trump ends Pax Americana as we know it? As Nicholas Grossman writes for The Bulwark, there is no undoing damage in history. It is up to those with power and influence to limit it now, and up to future generations to deal with it later. The post-Cold War international system has serious flaws, but at least there are clear enough rules that charges of hypocrisy mean something. Even rules more honored in the breach will be preferable to the lawlessness Trump's second term could invite.
Man, don't forget, people, Trump's a businessman. Okay? He is working out deals. You don't make billions of dollars without figuring out how to work out a deal. You don't learn to make billions of dollars without figuring out how to get into somebody's head. That's what they do. That's what he does, and that's what he is good at doing. I welcome it. I think it's great. I think the negotiation that he is doing to protect his country is exactly what we need to be doing up here. But unfortunately, we have people up here who think it's more important to, like I was saying earlier, save everybody. And you can't save everybody. Have a look at something, because you got this post. I don't know who this guy is. Grant Cardone. Canada merges with the U.S. Canadians would be able to move and travel freely, benefit from lower taxes, expand their oil and gas and timber industry, and become an important nation again. I mean, there's no lie in that. There's no lie there. Absolutely, we could expand our oil industry. we would have the American dollar. Do you know how incredible it would be to use the American dollar? It's 30 cents more valuable than ours. It's got trade power. You know, people don't understand that inflation comes from raising or a weakening dollar, and the weakening dollar happens when you influx money into the economy. When you borrow money like they did during the pandemic and you influx it, like what they're going to do with this $250, they're going to borrow it and they're going to influx it into our economy. That forces our dollar to weaken, right? It divides our dollar. And when you divide the dollar, it weakens the dollar's trade value. So when we have to buy things, it creates a chain reaction. That's how inflation starts. You borrow something or you buy something that used to cost a certain amount. Now it costs more. So in turn, the prices eventually start to create a ripple effect. Everything starts to chain react and go up, up, up in order to pay back the money we don't have. See, the central bank works on a system that essentially, when it was first created, in Canada it was created, I believe, in 1945, and in the States it was 1914. And when that was introduced, basically what it does is it says, we're going to influx money into your government, and then you're going to have to pay, or into your economy, and you're going to have to pay that back. But there's no money to pay it back, right? The money's doesn't exist to pay it back. So the taxpayer has to up their prices in order to get the money to offset the balance. And then it creates an endless loop. That's where we are now. We're in an endless loop of borrowing, trying to pay back money that doesn't exist. It never existed. So to have the American dollar would be, what a blessing. What a blessing that would be. Let's have a look at this.
The 51st state. Well, let's just be clear. We're not going to make Canada the 51st state. We'll make it 51 and 52. You make Western Canada, that'll be Republican. Eastern Canada, that'll be Democrat, so you keep the electoral balance there. So many reasons to make this a state. I think, has the third largest oil reserves in the world.
Oh, a lot.
So that makes us an energy behemoth. It's the most well-educated country in the world, because we need a little help in that department. Talk about mining, agriculture, fishing, AI, tech, real estate, Canada, you name it, they got it. We'll never probably lose another Winter Olympics. We'll have all of their skaters and skiers. Wow. I mean, good luck, Sweden. And they share our cultural heritage. They share our language. It's just a no-brainer. Now, I don't know if Canada is going to go along with it, but there's ways to maybe change their opinion.
Do you want to end it there?
I'll end it there.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
The Army's minuscule, but that's fine. We'll pay to protect them as a state. But we're doubling the size of the country, America. Think about it.
Thank you, Jim.
Jesse Waters, clearly being funny here, right? The Five is a funny show. And let's be real, Canada is a large country, but most of it is horrible to live in. Like, I mean, a lot of the U.S. can be equally as bad in the winter times and that kind of stuff. But I mean, Northwest Territories and all that stuff is virtually inhabitable. Most of Canada lives along the border. I think it's like 90% of Canada lives literally along the U.S. border. And I think 30 or so percent lives beyond the Canadian border that dips into in Ontario, and with, the Great Lakes and all that crap, or all that stuff. But yeah, Jesse Waters is, making some solid points. He's making some solid points. Something to consider, something to think about.